In this episode, we're going to talk about one of the stinkiest villains in all of Eternia. That's right, Stinkor. So, stink around! Hello, fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name is Rob, and in this episode, that's right, we're taking a look at the evil master of odors, Stinkor. What a moniker to have, the evil master of odors. I mean, it sums him up pretty good. He's a skunk dude, so pretty cool. So before we get started, let me just say, a lot of the Masters of the Universe Origins figures that I have been getting are callbacks to figures that I had when I was a kid that have disappeared through time and space, and I don't have them anymore. So the Origins line has been great for me to reclaim those bits of childhood nostalgia, and I've enjoyed every minute of it and having them back in my collection. Even though they're not the originals, they're pretty darn close, and they've made great improvements over the originals. Anyway, Stinkor was never a character that I actually had, but I always wanted. I knew people that had him, and I always thought he was a great character, albeit he didn't come with a weapon per se, and we'll see if that has changed with this figure when we unbox it and take a look at him. So, without further ado, let's take a trip to Eternia and let's meet Stinkor. Okay, folks, here we go. Here is Stinkor. And let's look at this package real quick. We have the new for 21 at the top. We have modern posing retro play here. We have product has real smell. It's fun. And of course, Stinkor, evil master of odors. And the original Mattel logo that we know and love from the 80s down here. What great packaging. And I've praised it in other Masters of the Universe Origins episodes that they've done everything right with this line. Now, I know Mattel recently has fallen under some fire for some of the decisions that they've made, but as far as this line goes, I'm very happy with it. So let's take a look at the back of the packaging now, shall we? And I will adjust the camera. And look at this beautiful artwork. We have Stinkor fighting Mossman. And it says, the sickening, foul stench of Stinkor can bring even the mightiest of Eternia's heroes to their knees. But great colors, great composition. I mean, we have this really neat, like, funky vegetation growing here around Mossman. We have the vapors of Stinkor's smell all over the place, and we see that he has his trusty shield. Like I said, he didn't come with any other weapons back in the day, and it looks like this might be the case with this figure. But I guess when you're packing a pocket full of stink, you don't need any other weapons. Includes a comic book. And let's look at this picture right here. Smell for odor attack. I think that girl sums it all up. Ew! Definitely does not look happy. That'd be funny on a t-shirt. Anyway, we have twist into powerful battle positions. And we have a checklist of the other figures that came out around this time. And of course, with every checklist, we have He-Man and Skeletor. We have the Beastman from the Lords of Power offshoot. We have the Eternia Goddess. We have Webster, and we have Stinkor. Now, Webster,
I have come upon him in the wild a couple times, and I have a lot of fond memories of this figure from when I was a kid. But for some reason, I just can't pull the trigger on picking him up. One day, I'm sure I will, but recently, I haven't been. Like I said, I saw Stinkor in the wild, though, and I had to get him. This was a figure I never had as a kid, and I always wanted. So I had to get them in my collection. And like I said, most of the Origins figures that I have picked up were ones that I had when I was a kid that I want to get back in my collection. So without further ado, let's open up this package and see what Stinkor has to offer and to see how stinky he really is. And how perfect that he's fighting Mossman. Mossman was another character with a famous smell. He smelled like pine, and I absolutely loved it. Mossman, one of my favorite figures, and I have not seen him in the wild, and I'm curious if he's flocked like the original figure. So, package to the side, let's take a look at the comic. Rock in a hard place. And here we go with the directions on how to pop off the pieces for modular play, which I think is really neat. So, rock in a hard place. So, we're not going to read it word for word, but we'll just take a look. Look at this awesome Beastman riding this griffin. Very cool. We got Faker. We got a lot of Fakers. Wow, that's neat. We have Webster here with Skeletor. Boom! That's He-Man blowing up all the Faker robots. Stinkor is already in position. And He-Man is trapped in my web. The sword as you ordered, Skeletor. Now I have the power. Then Stinkor, stink everywhere. It's only a matter of time before He-Man suffocates. My power gone. The stench is too strong. Oh, and then Eternia goddess shows up. Young prince. Cough, goddess, the power sword, it's gone. Indeed. Bonk. What an answer. Indeed. So we see He-Man finally gets his sword back. Beats the crap out of everybody, and you have far too much on your mind. I don't know who he's talking to because I didn't read the whole thing, but pretty cool. I love that they include these, but it would have been really cool if they reprinted the originals. But I don't know how it all works out. Maybe Dark Horse has the rights to them since they have, started releasing them in these huge, awesome tomes that I would love to get. I shouldn't say started to. They've been doing it for a while. Have a huge, big hardback collection of them. So here we go, Stinkor. And I'm sure he is sealed with rubber bands of doom. Boom. Any more? I don't see them. Be free, my stinky friend. So here we go with the shield. One thing I really miss with the origins of the original shields were like the weird slit that it had and that they spun. I mean, I thought that was really neat, and I'm still not sure what the slit was for. I know the sword fit in it, so that was kind of cool, and that's how I played with it. Now, let me take a whiff. Now, honestly, he doesn't stink at all. He kind of has a awesome new plastic smell that, is intoxicating when it comes to toys. So, I don't know what kind of stink they're going for. I think he smells pretty awesome myself. Maybe I'm just weird. Anyway, move the camera a little bit here and set him up. Now, one of the most fascinating things about the He-Man line is how they were able to reuse parts, reuse figures, slap on new paint schemes, slap on different bits here and there, and get all new characters. I mean, what a great way to save money and produce figures quickly. And I think that's why we got so many wave after wave very quickly, because they were just repainting and throwing in new packaging and throwing them out on the shelves. Now, I'll throw up a side-by-side comparison, but this is Merman 100%. Maybe. He might have different trunks on, but it's pretty much the same arms, feet, maybe different arms. I'll have to look. I'm not 100% sure on that, because unfortunately, or very fortunately I should say, the only Merman I have in my possession now is the Lords of Power one, which has more of a feel of the original comic look with the cool, fins off the eyes and everything. But this looks like the original Merman in his face and everything else. I mean, who would have thought, let's take the fish dude and paint him like a skunk? I mean, yes, that's kind of cheating, but so I don't know, creative to think like that. I would have never have said, hey, fish guy, you're now a skunk, and all we need to do is get some black plastic with some white paint. Now, this armor, which is completely different than the original, because that was hard plastic and it snapped at the top and the bottom. This is soft plastic and it only attaches at the bottom. But this is very much Mechanek's armor that he had back in the day. And I assume the original Stinkor had the exact same armor as Mechanek did. Which, again, one of my favorite characters, Mechanek. Love to get a hold of him one day. But here he is. We will put the shield in his hand, and I will have to check my armory here to see if I have a cool sword to give him. I think I may have a cool sword. So let me go check, and I will meet you back here. Okay, I'm back. I had a sword in mind, but it belonged to Hudson, the gargoyle toy from back in the 90s, and I didn't want to use it because I want to display him soon, because I'm really excited to get the new NECA version of him. So anyway, I did find a scimitar that actually came with my Indiana Jones figure I got from Disney World, and I thought this would be a really neat weapon to give him. Granted, it's not super big, but it fits. And I think that looks pretty cool. Now, maybe he deserves a bigger sword, and maybe one day he will get one. But for now, I think this works pretty darn good. I think that looks pretty impressive. Gas a fool and then cut him? I mean, I'd be afraid. So, anyway, here is Stinkor, and I'm very happy with him. And like I said, it still fascinates me to this day how Mattel just created new characters out of stuff they had laying around, and was very cost effective and really creative when you think about it. So anyway, here's Stinkor. I give it 2 thumbs up. Now, back to me.
Okay, back to me. Wow, I am super excited to have Stinkor in my collection. Like I said, never had him as a kid, but always wanted him. So, score 1 for the good guys, as they say. Now, like I said, most of my Origins figures that I have purchased have had callbacks to ones that I had originally. So, it's kind of neat to jump out of that comfort zone and get something new and add it to the collection. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at Masters of the Universe Origins Stinkor. It's a great figure, and if you ever see it out in the wild, I recommend you pick it up because he's pretty cool. Albeit not as stinky as the packaging wants you to think, I actually think he smells quite pleasant. Like I said, he smells like brand new plastic, and That's just a smell you can't get enough of when you're cracking open fresh toys. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them, and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the episodes YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky!